Hello everyone, welcome to the Teacher's Time Off with Adora. Welcome to another episode on the Teacher's Time Off with Adora. Yeah. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm trading confettis for you. You're welcome. If you got my video, you're just coming for the first time, ensure that you subscribe. Like right now, just click on the subscribe button and also the bell button to ensure that you get my notifications. Now the bell button, ensure that it's the all button where you see the parenthesis around it to ensure that you know when I go live or when I post new videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, I want to say thank you so much for always coming back and supporting the YouTube channel. It's not easy to make these videos. Trust me, it's not easy, but I have to do these things because I love you and I need you to have the best resources ever. By the way, good news, I won a pitch competition. That's by the way, but thank you. Woo! That's awesome. That was one very big highlight of my my week next week. But today I have something really exciting and amazing. Like I brought a special guest for you guys. I brought in a special guest. Now, this is the backstory of me bringing a special guest. I did not want to bring her in right now. I wanted her to come in, but even through the Fresh Look Africa. By the way, if you don't know about the Fresh Look Africa, I don't know what you know about me. But if you want to know more about the Fresh Look Africa, go to www.thefreshlookaafrica.com. I'm going to put the link down in the description box. But this guest of mine put up an Instagram post talking about, she just put, it was like a funny video of some sort, where she was just putting out the assumptions that people have made about teaching. They want to go into teaching, and some of them feel like, oh, I should go into teaching because teaching is an easy profession. I will close early and all of these things. And I commented, I was like, should we tell them? And she was like, oh, that we should not discourage the teachers that are coming. Now, what can we do? And so that was how the conversation began. She is a very lovely person. I love her makeup. She's one of those teachers that I'm not saying that you all don't have nice makeup. I'm just saying that she's a teacher and she really does great makeup. She really looks beautiful. She has a pretty smile. I'm just saying she's married as well, so no, you can't ask me. The fact that I'm single doesn't mean I don't have married friends. I'm going to welcome Senami Micah up on the Teacher's Time Off with Adora. She's our guest for today. She has over 5 years of teaching experience. She is a teacher in Nigeria, and she's also known as your teacher buddy. She has a YouTube channel as well, and she has a very resourceful Instagram page. Now, this video is going to encourage you. You can come back to this video any day, anytime, just for you to learn. So ensure you sit back, take your time, binge watch, fast forward, come back, rewind, slow down. But first things first, ensure that you subscribe. Okay, so I want you to introduce yourself, or let me just welcome you. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Teacher's Time of Adora. This is my usual intro. It feels so weird. Welcome to the Teacher's Time of Adora. And I have my first guest today. You're my first guest, and I'm super excited to have another teacher on board. We started off a conversation. You started off a conversation on your Instagram page, and immediately I saw all that you say, talking about the perspective of people towards teaching and how some people think it's easy. And funny enough, I had that experience like some weeks back when, somebody said, oh, I said when somebody I told you I'm a teacher, and like, it's not just teaching. I'm like, I was so upset. It got to me so bad. And we're going to the gym because it's my gym body, right? And
I was like, you know what? When you give birth to your child and then you have to teach your child his just their assignments, give me feedback. I was so upset. I was almost storming, storming off. And it was like,
I
calm
can
down. I was like, calm down, nice boy. But really, do is it not just? I said, okay, no problem. It's just when you are ready, you can homeschool your child. Don't take your child to school and all that. And I'm like, please don't look down on my profession. I don't like it. I don't like it. So immediately I saw your post, I'm like, my first response in my head was like, should we tell them? Because that was the first experience that just popped up. I'm like, if only people knew, what went into. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's very fulfilling and very, very rewarding at the end of the day. And you know, okay, your video is. Are you paused? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, your video is paused. It's like cracked of some sort. So
Okay, what about now?
yes, you can put off your video and put it back on.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah. Yes, you're back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So and so this conversation was for because I was going to this was going to be my video for today, coping with teacher anxiety, especially for first year teachers and those that are going into the education space, especially as the school year is starting soon. And so it's just going to be an encouragement video for first year teachers, teachers that are already losing steam and they feel like, man, I don't think this thing is for me. I don't think I should continue and all of these things. But I'm so excited to have you, Senami, and I'm very honored to have another teacher on board do this with me. I love my teachers. I love anybody that's a teacher. You have my love already. You don't need to do any other.
Automatically, right?
You don't need to do any other thing. You just say I'm a teacher. I say, oh, are you serious? I
I
love
love you already.
so like oh, you have all my love and everything that I do is around teacher education, ensuring that we just have the best quality of education for our children, the next generation, and also that teachers have the best life. Our reward is in heaven, but our reward is also here on earth.
Uh,
It's also here on earth, and so I'm all for that life. So I'm just going to pass the mic over to you, and to just introduce yourself. Just tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about your story. Life before teaching. Did you come into teaching knowing that you were going to teach, or the Lord brought you in, or you just found yourself there? I'm all in. I'm ready to hear your story. Please, right up.
Okay, so thank you so much for having me, and I'm so excited to be here. So my name is Senami Micah, and the whole teaching journey for me. Okay, so when I was trying to get into the university, I wanted to study medicine, but
Thank the Lord.
looking back now, I think it was just engineer or lawyer, and medicine was just the thing in my head. Even though funny enough, while I was struggling to go in for medicine, my mom kept telling me, do you know that you're a teacher? Why not just do education? And I'm just looking at her like, I don't understand. What's the connection? Meanwhile, when she was young, her dad used to call her a teacher, and she was always angry because she felt it was because she was not so brilliant.
Mm.
But he saw more, and when she was about to go into the university, actually got her this certificate to go and study, got her an admission into to go and do diploma in Montessori education in London. Like that was how passionate he was. That was how much he saw that she was a teacher. And she was just like, who is this man? So she went, sent the certificate home, and then did a course in hotel management, telling him that I've done what you want. Now I'm doing what I want. So when she started telling me education, I said, oh, you want to do what your father did to you, right? At the end of the day, you didn't pursue what he wanted you to do. So why are you pushing it on me? You want me to fulfill the dreams that you did not fulfill and all. So I went into school and studied chemistry instead. And then during my industrial training in my 300 level, planning to go into 400 level, I worked in a pharmaceutical company. And meanwhile, because I went to I went to a state university. There were a lot of strikes in between. And anytime we were on strike, I would usually go and volunteer in a school close to my house and, just go and teach there. And then I just used to teach. And I was just enjoying it, but I didn't think of it as something I wanted to do. I was just to while away time instead of staying at home. And then during my industrial training, I got really bored working in that pharmaceutical company. Like everything was to the letter, everything you needed to do was written out. You needed to follow. It felt like routine. It got boring. And I was just asking myself, God, do I want to do this? So even after school, I had the opportunity to go back to where I did my industrial training, but it was not even on my mind. Like, who wants to do a boring job? And then during NYC, I just told myself, come, I think this teaching thing, that's where I find fulfillment. And it was always exciting being in the classroom. So I pursued a PGD. So I did a postgraduate diploma in education. And then I did master's in education. And then I went into the classroom. And that was how I got into the classroom.
Oh, amazing. Your story is quite peculiar. Like you were bored of something and you decided, you know what, let me try this thing out. For me,
yes,
it was
because I've been teaching while I was at home. So every time they strike and ASU strike and all, and I felt the difference. So there was this feeling that came with teaching. I used to teach nursery classes, then early primary classes, and I was always just so excited.
right.
I didn't find out when I was teaching in that company, and I just felt, God, what's this? So I said, okay, my mom's dream about my future is true.
And I think for me, mine was this, I wanted to study medicine right from being a child. Like I always, what do you want to be? I want to be a pediatrician. What do you want to be? I want to be a pediatrician. So automatically, I went to science class in senior school. By the time I was done, I was applying to study medicine in universities, and they were bouncing me. And so it was funny because at the time when I was finishing school, I knew I wanted to study medicine, but at the same time, I wasn't like other people that had like choices of universities. So my choice was the first one was Uniben, to go to Uniben and at the kind of and Covenant University because I went to Fake Academy. So the next place was Covenant University. I mean, by the time they didn't even have, I don't even know if they even have medicine there now, but they didn't have medicine. So I put in for another science course, I think microbiology or something. But then jam that year, I got 1 point below the cutoff mark for Covenant University. So Covenant University was a no-no. And then University of Benin, I don't even know what happened, whether I missed the posterior me or something. I can't remember, but I did not go to Uniben. And so my mom was like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? So we saw Unilag diploma at the time. That's like A-levels. And I applied and they gave me biology education. They didn't give me medicine. I did not pass it. I did 2 pass for medicine. And that was how I started my journey, biology education into and I had the opportunity to switch after diploma to a science course, but I don't know, I didn't just want to, I didn't just have the push to switch to another course. And that was my journey for me. And it's amazing. But I love your story. Like you just enjoyed, just started teaching, just enjoyed it. For me, I did not if they had told me that I'll be in the education industry now and I'll be passionate about it, I would say that person is a false prophet. A prophet of
My mom in my room that day during NYS, and I told her that I want to get a form to go and do PGD in UI. She just laughed and said, I was telling you, you did not listen to me. Now you are just going to go. That's a longer route, but then at the end of the day, that's your business. And I just laughed.
Oh, my mom was so discouraged. She was like, hey, what will people say? I'm going to study biology education. How will she tell people? Till like my second year, she didn't just know what to tell. I said, just tell them I'm studying biology education. But now what does my daughter? She's a teacher.
Teacher.
She's so proud of me because she's like, I love how you are now portraying the teaching profession, and everybody and anybody that sees me, they're always like, "You're a teacher." I'm like, "Yes, I'm a teacher, proud one at that." And so, I just love it. I love it. I love your story. It's very, very peculiar. You went in and you loved it and you continued. For me, I didn't even know what I was doing. I just found myself in biology education. I studied it and I fell in love. Well, that's really awesome. But how was your life before teaching? I mean, was there were there other options for you? I mean, apart from chemistry. In fact, why chemistry? Why chemistry? No
Okay, so
shame or anything.
chemistry.
Why? I was not, even if I was in science class, but chemistry and physics.
Okay, so for me, how did chemistry? So I had to choose between. Okay, when I didn't get medicine now, so I had to choose between chemistry, physics, and I think biochemistry. Biochemistry was a no-no. I don't know why I just disliked the course.
Course
And
is
then
hard.
physics, when I think of physics, so in my last year of being in secondary school, I met this chemistry teacher that changed my perspective about chemistry. I disliked chemistry till I got to SS3. How I was passing, I don't even know. And then I met this teacher. I'm still looking for him actually. I can't remember his surname and it's been difficult to find him. But I met him in a GC lesson, like just a lesson, a 3 month lesson. And he taught organic chemistry in a way that, oh my God, I was like, is this the same thing I've been learning in school? Who is this man? He made it so fun and I understood it till now. That's the part of chemistry I know the best just because of that man.
Wow.
So when chemistry, physics, and biochemistry, the first thing that came to my mind was chemistry. That even if I don't really, okay, I know I'm good at, I'm good with physical chemistry because it's calculation. And this man has made me fall in love with organic chemistry. I should be able to walk my way through the other parts of chemistry, but I know this too well. And I just chose chemistry. And I think every year my organic chemistry result always stood out, even though it was the hardest, just because of the impact that he made. And that was one of the reasons I chose chemistry. When I got into teaching, I just told myself, first of all, can we just stop making children think that things are hard? That was
Hard,
one of my
right.
things.
You can see that till now I'm still saying chemistry is hard because the way I was taught was hard. Even though I
Exactly.
know if a good teacher sits down with me to explain the basics, I will get it. Mm.
I was also talking about him last week with some colleagues. I said, I'm looking for this. I just know his name is David. When I type David on
Mm.
Facebook, everybody, do you know when people
Everybody
will come
say,
out? I'm still looking for him because the impact he made in my life, I can't even, but then I know wherever he's, God will continue to bless and reward him. And he was just a student who wanted to study medicine, and kept jamming him, schools kept
oh,
rejecting him, but he didn't give up. So he was going about doing GC lessons for students while trying to get into Uniben to study medicine. And at the end of the day, the last time I heard from him when I was in my second year, he finally got into Uniben for medicine. I was so excited for him. And I've not heard from him since then.
oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's
If you
very.
see this video and contact me.
I hope so. Let's look for David. Can we find teacher David? Oh, maybe, who knows? Maybe he's a teacher. Who knows? Maybe no one knows really. So, but that's the amazing thing about teaching, even talking about, encouraging first year teachers, that's the rewarding thing about teaching. If you put your heart into it, you will see the reward. And this is the reward, just knowing that there's a child, there's a student out there that you taught once in your life, and that person is thriving and that person is doing well because
I'm
that
not even
person
praying for
has
you.
to win. Exactly, you are praying for him. There's no how any bad thing can happen to that person, because you are still praying for that person. I was in church that I was having a conversation with, just met someone that just came into Canada. She was like, oh, that this person's mother, like another church member's mom was the teacher of my pastor's wife in secondary school. And the other lady was like, oh, are you serious? I'm like, and this person I'm talking about is not a young person. That's like someone maybe like an elderly person or something. And so that memory is still there. We can remember the very good ones that really touched our hearts. And so that's the beautiful thing about it. So first year teachers, if you're going into the teaching profession, just know that you are touching the heart of people. Every person that comes across you, that passes your path, you have the opportunity to transform that person's life forever. Okay, so I'm going to ask my second question. Okay, you've already answered my second question. My second question was, did you always want to teach? So I think you've answered that. So, but what was your first year or your first teaching experience like in corporate, like your first school, getting your first job, applying for your first teaching job, teaching your first class? How was that like for you?
Okay, so sincerely, I was all over the place. I was really, really all over the place because, okay, so even though I had been teaching like throughout when I was in university, it did not feel the same. So, when you're teaching, just going to go and while away time in school, the expectations will not be so much because you're not really unemployed per se. So my first real job after I finished my master's, I knew the expectations were high, and it just really got me a little all over the place. And right now, looking back, I know I made many mistakes along the way because I was just looking out for being perfect. So I just wanted to be the perfect teacher. All the things I've learned, all the things I've read, I wanted to apply everything at the same time. So as a first-time teacher, I would just say I was worried. I was scattered. Maybe not scattered like literally, but then inside me, I knew I was not put together because I was just all over the place, trying to please my boss, trying to make sure that the children love me, trying to make sure that I finish up my curriculum. So I was just wanting to do so many things at the same time. And to an extent, even though because I was passionate, I kind of stood out. But then deep down, when I look back now, I know I was not giving my best. So I was too conscious of self, too conscious of everyone, trying to make everyone see me as that great teacher, my students, my boss, my colleagues. I was just, and I think it's something that many teachers experience in their first year. They go in forgetting that the sole purpose is the students, and they're more focused on self. So me doing the best that I can do, me doing the perfect job, me making sure that my boss sees me as valuable, me making sure that the children are learning and they're meeting expectations. So it's a whole lot. And so every time I meet a new teacher, I think the first thing I always tell them is to just stay calm and breathe. Just calm down. Calm down and take it one step at a time.
Awesome. First year teaching experience. First year teaching experience, like, okay, yeah, my first official teaching experience, because I started teaching. So I had like micro teaching, I had macro teaching. I taught in public school for that period of my macro teaching. During NYSC, I taught in another school. So I was teaching a subject that did not concern me, data processing. Till today, I'm still wondering. I just hope I didn't make any mistakes so that those students don't carry those mistakes for a long time, because they were short on teachers and they just introduced data processing to the Nigerian curriculum at the time. And there were not textbooks available. The subject is not even a known subject. Like I don't know who puts data process. Like, how do you
I remember when they added all those things. They just a lot of something that they just felt the children should know by the side. And they just put it into the curriculum.
Without no resources available, so sometimes I will see some things and I'll go online to check and I'll notice that maybe it's one computer science topic and I'm like, I did not study computer science. But anyway, I'll try to teach these children the way I can. And the textbooks they had, I said this in one of my videos. I said, if I can remember the author that wrote that textbook, if I catch you, because he just went on Google, the first thing there, just bumped it inside the textbook and handed it over to us. Take. So sometimes when I go on Google and I'm checking something, and I'll see the first thing there is the same thing in textbook, and I'm like, why? Why would you do this to us? Why? And it was just funny. But anyway, the children enjoyed the subject, at least to the best of my knowledge. But for me, I wish I I had another, maybe science, maybe elementary science or biology or something that was, my core, that kind of thing. But anyway, so it was all part of the preparation process. And then I got my first. Where did you get your first job? Where did you start? What school did you work first?
Okay, so I first of all worked in a school called Merrimack School for a few years. That was
Wow.
before I did my master's degree.
Okay.
And then after I got my master's, I started working in the school I work in presently, Kids Scott School.
Yeah.
So I think by January I'll have been there for 5 years.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Wow, Dr. That will love you so much because you're a great teacher. So yeah. That's another conversation for another day. Okay, so by the way, and let me just trade in. So if you're also going, I don't know, did she transition from being the not just the head of school or owner of the school to your mentor? Is she currently a mentor? Just a question. Would you
Yes,
consider her your mentor?
I consider my mentor because I would say that I remember the first day I had a conversation. In short, my interview is like the funniest thing ever because it was just really funny. And she just believed in me. I don't know what I said. Because every time I look back and I look at the process we go through now to employ teachers, I always tell myself that if this was the process that was used for me then, I don't think I would have gotten this job. But it was just hard then. She'll just have a chat with you and ask questions. I don't know what I said, right? And then I just got this text the next day. You had to resume. And I was like, really? And I remember the first staff meeting we had just before we resumed. After listening to her, I went home to write this love note. I was like, God, who is this woman? Thank you, Lord, for making me meet this woman. Jesus Christ, I'm sure you have sent me to this school for a purpose. Like, oh my, every time I'll tell myself that maybe one of these days I'll show her that love note because I still look at it sometimes and I laugh. Like my
Mm,
first, and I would say that before I got into that school, I had gone through some personal experiences that kind of broke my self-esteem.
mm,
It was quite tough. So for like a year, I wasn't doing anything because I was trying to get over what I went through. So I went through a very bad time, which I'm not ready to talk about now. And it's really made me lose my self-esteem. It made me forget my why. I
mm,
almost lost, I wasn't thinking of anything. I was not excited about anything anymore. So going there for that interview, trying to remind myself of my why was a big step for me into telling myself that, okay, you can let go of the past and move on.
mm,
So getting that job, it was just me struggling to
mm,
wake up and remind myself that, come, you have something you really want to do. So when I had my first conversation with her, or when that was after that staff meeting, I went back home ignited. So
mm.
it just felt like God had just wanted me to walk there, to
Yeah.
listen to her, to just remind me of why He had created me in the first place. Because I actually, in short, that experience really broke me. So it was miraculous for me in the sense that it reminded me of how passionate I really wanted. Because I remember then, even before when I was in the university studying chemistry and not even thinking of becoming a teacher, there are many times I write about how I want to change the impression children had about teachers. I was just
Mm,
really passionate about changing this because I had met a few teachers. I felt that if only people realize that why are teachers making things hard? Children can learn and have fun. And I really wanted to change those things without being a teacher, actually. So I had
mm,
those dreams to become a teacher to do it. Instead, I was just thinking that, okay, this chemistry thing, I'll just go and do a doctorate degree in chemistry and work in a university. I was
mm,
not thinking going into the classroom like primary school. So at the end of the day, when I found myself teaching, I just knew that the old dream thing was still connected to teaching at the end of the day. So I would see that I would always be grateful that I found myself there because it just ignited everything I'd always desired. And our passion just reminded me of all the things I dreamt of. And, I just woke up excited.
mm,
And since then, it's been an exciting journey because I've been able to rediscover myself, I would say. Then my purpose and my why is just clearly right before my face. And I like that she's also not that type of, because I know that there are many people that would work in places where when they're trying to stand out or shine outside the school premises, they hold them back like, who do you think you are trying to? So she's not that kind of person. She would actually send me private messages. I like what you're doing on your social media page. So she's not thinking that one school now will see me and say, oh, come to my own school now. She doesn't think that way. And I like that she doesn't have a limiting a fixed mindset. So she just wants everyone to bloom, everyone to grow, and she's not really bothered about if the whole world gets to see. Yeah.
Awesome. And so what I hear you say, actually, because the reason why I asked that question was because of the place of mentorship, actually. I just wanted to know the role that mentorship played in you becoming, this teacher today. And I can see that it's played a very huge role. And so for even first year teachers going into a school environment, first of all, that school environment was nourishing, actually. So it's helped you actually bloom. So also have to be careful with the kinds of environments we are looking going into. So don't go into a school environment or don't get a job because of desperation. Yes, sometimes desperate times sometimes call for desperate measures, but even those desperate measures you are taking you have to be very, very careful. Don't go into a place where they will destroy your esteem, where you walk, and then the head of school is rubbishing you and your colleagues are, just so they have that fixed mindset. Nobody wants to grow and all of those things. So you have to take your time to yeah. So you have to go into a nourishing environment, especially for first year teachers. It's very, very important because
it can actually, it can actually, so some people go in excited and they find themselves in the wrong place and it just kills all the
exactly. Yes. And I will say that when I was also running my first master's, I was also in a teacher's academy at the time. And I had many public teachers. They asked questions. They said, I really want to teach in a public school because that was where I gained like my first experience. I was like, I really want to teach in a public school. And everybody, even to school owners there, they said, Adora, I love your vibe. I love how you're excited about teaching, but I will advise you for now, you are still young. The public school system is still going through a whole lot of changes and all of those things. I will advise that you go start in a private school. When you've gotten your grounding, when you are grounded as a teacher, you can choose to go to a public school. But for now, don't go because it can kill your joy and your joy. That was what made me go to apply to a private school, because actually I was already, in fact, because my mom was a civil servant, so she had a leg in government of some sort. So she was like, oh, applications are out, send your application and all of that. I was like, I was ready, I was good to go. But then after those conversations, they were like, don't go. And so environment is very, very important. And by the time I found myself in dancehall, I tell everybody and anybody, I said that has been the best, in fact, the most transforming experience for me as a teacher, because what I had learned there as a teacher, as an individual, the amount of time they pour into us as teachers to ensure that we are growing, it changed everything about me. It transformed my life for good. And so it's very important. That environment part is important. And also the place of mentorship is very important. I also want to ask, what role did community play in your life as a teacher? So when you got in, did you feel any form of loneliness? Did you have times where you were like, I feel like I'm doing this thing alone? And, in those times where you were feeling like you were, going in, you knew everything. I have the pedagogical reasoning and all of this as a teacher. Measurement and evaluation, assessment on point. You know how to create an engaging class and all of those things. So, but were there times where you just felt lonely, like, I feel like I'm the only one doing this, and so what were there communities that you were part of?
Okay, so first of all, I would say that so all of those things that we learn in the school as teachers, all these things that they teach in the university, the truth is that, and it's still back to the right environment. If you don't find yourself in the right environment, all those things, applying them in real life, I don't think they teach the application, they just teach the theory. So if you don't find the right support, it will all be useless. You would not just know how to apply it. It's just, you even think that you wasted your time learning them. But by the time you start applying and then you start saying, oh, they taught us this theory. Oh, so this is what it means. Like all these Bloom's taxonomy and co. Actually, when I look at my notes, they were all there, but I didn't even remember I was taught because there was
Yeah,
no
right.
when they were teaching us. We were just writing the notes. So for me, I would say that my environment really helped me because everywhere you go, everyone was willing to support.
Mm.
And even when you're confused, there's someone that is willing to help you. And there's a director that is always in your face anyway. So even before you make the mistake, she has caught your hand, and sometimes she just lets you make it and then so that you can learn. Other times you'll be safe before you make the mistake. But then the environment I found myself was big on trainings and not just training one person. So learning together, discussing what you have learned, talk to each other about how you intend to apply it.
Right.
There was also a lot of observation in place where there would always be someone coming to check on how you're applying it. Pair observation, then your line manager observing you. So there was a lot of monitoring happening. And so it gave me the opportunity to not feel so lonely. The times I felt lonely were the times where I felt I could do everything myself. So that was one of the mistakes I made in my first year of teaching. I felt I could do everything myself. I felt asking for help would mean that I was not good enough. And so even when I could have just asked someone and solved it in 5 minutes, I would struggle for 1 hour. So I was wasting time. I didn't know how to delegate. I wanted to do everything myself. So those times I might have even felt lonely were the times I'd actually put myself in my classroom and just cover my head there and say, no, it is my business. It is my business. And it's a big mistake many teachers, especially first-time teachers, a big mistake they make because they think that first year is the time for them to prove that they are great teachers. It's the time to prove your boss that this salary you are paying me is worth it. This job you're giving me, I can do it. Meanwhile, if you are in an environment, because actually some environments will make you, because if you're in an environment where when you ask for help, the person you have asked for help will go and say, oh, she doesn't know it though. I was want to help them. That's another problem. So the right environment, like you have said, is very, very important. But then when you want to do everything yourself, it's the greatest mistake any teacher can make. And even if your environment, because sometimes you might even find yourself in the wrong environment, but because you know your why, because you know what you want, you can start speaking for change. Some people have gone into environments and changed things. Spoke to someone last week where she was saying that when she got into a school, the main things they were doing, and she kept countering them, and she has changed many things already. At the end of the day, she was made the head teacher. She was given a position because the owner was like, wow, I didn't even know I was making these mistakes. So sometimes you may not necessarily just run out. You can try to, share the thoughts that you have. Then if it is not accepted or you are made to feel bad because you are telling them the truth, then you can find your way out. So collaborating with other teachers, asking for help when you need help, very, very important, especially in your first year. You need all the support that you need. You can't afford to tell yourself I can do it all by myself. Never, ever, ever.
Yeah, on point. Yeah, that's so on point. On point. I'll just where the word is collaboration. Collaboration is key, and this one is not saying, please come and collaborate with me. Look for opportunities. Just don't try to do everything yourself. And that's something that that was even a mistake I made as well, just like you mentioned already. in the first year, I came in with all this zeal. I mean, after spending 4 years in university studying education, still with 1 extra year in Teachers Academy. What is it that you want to give to me that I do not know? And so I went, and at the time it was just after COVID. So even other teachers were on their toes. Nobody had time to assist anybody. Even one of my big sis in the school as well, she was like, nobody has time to help you. But if you have any questions, ensure you ask. So I was like, everybody who will answer me, everybody is busy. Let me just, so I was just trying to, do the one that I can do. Class decor, please. That class decoration is a story for another day. Trying to make your class look like one Pinterest zone. When you go on Pinterest, you see all those fine classes.
All those perfect classrooms.
You look at some teachers abroad, you see their classes, you're like, hey, God, I want this life. And so I was just there. I was just trying to, I was trying to be that vibey teacher, that amazing teacher as well. But there's only so much you can do by yourself. And so internal support, external support as well. If you cannot find the support from inside, if everything is going wrong inside, look for support outside. And that's where we talked about being in the right communities. Look for a community of teachers. Ensure that you have that. It's very, very important. I feel like it should be a prerequisite before you even start teaching. Enter that community, ask questions, and that was something that I did not really do. I think I've talked about some of I have a video on 10 mistakes I made as a first year teacher. I ask questions. That kind of thing, I would have just sat down with another teacher and just asked all the questions I wanted to ask. But I did not. I didn't think about it, like ask questions. What is it after all these things that they've taught me? Because I was still a trainee in dancer for 6 months. So I was like, so after all these things, I will still come and ask questions. What am I asking? That kind of ask questions because you want to know how hot it is inside the class or how cool it is inside the class before going into the classroom. So it's it's very important. So first year teachers, ensure that you're asking questions. Very important. Find that support, internal support, external support, and all of these things. So my final question before we wrap up is discouragement. Let's talk about discouragement. What has there been a time, or have there been times where you were like, you know what, this teaching job, I'm just going to leave this classroom and I'm not going to teach again, or I'm going to teach outside the classroom space. I know there was a time I was like, this teaching in the classroom is not for me. I think I prefer staying online just because I had a taste of online teaching and I enjoyed it, and I went back to the classroom. So, but were there times where you were just like, you know what, I'm not doing, I can't do this again. But I see that you're still teaching. That means you went through that phase of discouragement, if you had any. So how did you deal with times of discouragement? And what were those discouragements?
Okay, so when I started teaching officially, I would say that I really got discouraged. Even though there were times where I was crying every morning before going to school, frustrated. But I actually, it never crossed my mind to quit. But the first time I got really, really frustrated and I was like, oh God, I can't do this again. I think it was when, so first of all, there was some sort of transitioning for me. I went into teaching as a single lady. So getting married, then I was pregnant. I managed through that phase. So resuming back, taking care of a baby, doing all my responsibilities, taking up a new position. So that's when I even came back after maternity, they now gave me a new position and all of that. Sincerely, that was the first time I almost gave up because I was overwhelmed. I was weeping like a baby. Thank God for my husband to an extent. He had always understood my why and purpose. So every time I cry and I do all my shakara, you just laugh and say, at the end of the day, you still go to school tomorrow.
I'm telling you.
And you just laugh about it. I said, you think it's funny? You think it's funny? So I would say that many times when we are struggling, we don't speak out. We pretend, these teachers thinking that they have superpowers needs to stop. Because we just think that so much is expected of me, or I've actually attained a level where everybody thinks that, okay, she's great. And then you are struggling. But because you don't want anybody to think that you're struggling, you keep, putting up with it. At the end of the day, you might break down physically, break down. And that's why some people wake up and quit. I have few friends that have stood up and just said, oh, I'm not teaching again. I need to focus on my family.
Oh.
And at a point, I now started thinking about it that, okay, see, before I didn't really understand, but when I got into it, I now realized that, okay, teaching as a single lady, the days you stay back late and mark, you get to take cornflakes and go to bed, you don't have anybody to cook for.
Right.
Nobody's. And then you don't need to go through a vigil because your baby refused to sleep. That life is entirely different. So when you start that life, it now looks as if I'm not even good enough anymore. I get to school, I'm just clumsy because I probably did not sleep throughout the night because my baby decided not to sleep. So when you are able to speak out, trust me, it always goes a long way. But many of us don't speak out because we just think that I can fix it. Teachers think they can fix everything. And at the end of the day, it kind of affects us. So I would say that during that period, the things that worked for me, first of all, I was able to speak out. And thank God I was in an environment that understood. And so some of my responsibilities were taken off me. And so the load became a little lighter. And when I was able to, adjust back and reorganize myself, I was now asked to take it. All of those things were now one after the other drop back on my lap. So speaking out goes a long way. You also want to ask for help from other teachers. You want to delegate. It was all of that made me teach my children how to pair assess. No, they always pair assess, but maybe they don't give feedback. So I had to teach them how to give each other feedback because I realized that after they assess their work, I'll still sit down to go through what they have marked and then start writing feedback. And I was like, okay, I'm spending about 2-3 hours doing this. Can't I just teach them a formula?
How to write.
Now I came up with this, okay, praise what the person has done, write out what the person needs to improve on, and list out some next steps.
Sandwich method.
By the time I taught them this, it helped me as a teacher, and it helped them because they became more conscious when they are doing their work, because they've exposed to giving each other feedback. Then they realize that, okay, I'm always telling this person to start with capital letter I before, so I must do the same now. And I saw that their work the errors in their work reduced, really, really reduced, to the extent that I was like, God, thank God I tried to do this, because it was the stress I was going through that led to me implementing that. And at the end of the day, it was not just helping me, it was helping my students become better. And then they can actually just pick up somebody's work, and in 2 minutes they will just tell you, do. And I'm just like, even me, I wouldn't have seen all these things. And it just makes me so proud of them. And it's something that I've told myself I'm going to continue, because it's not just helping me as a teacher, it's helping the children too. So when you're at that point that you feel discouraged, please speak out. And it doesn't have to be someone inside. The first person I spoke to was not even an insider. It was a friend I'd met on Instagram, and then we just held each other accountable. You're my accountability partner. So we always share our goals for the term, and then we follow up on each other. We're not in the same city, not even in Lagos. First person I opened up to that this is what I'm going through, and then he was just there giving me the moral support until I spoke out in the school, and then I was able to also get support from the school. So we should always speak out when we are at that point, so that we don't get to the point where we are burnt out already or broken, and then it can't really be fixed. Because some people actually just resign and nobody knows why. They just tell you that time to leave. And sometimes because they just feel that they can't manage everything anymore. So it's not that it's so easy, but then you can still push through if you just devise some means and speak to people. People will tell you ideas. Okay, why not do this instead of this? Why not do this? So it's good to just always speak out. because so many of these people have been in your shoes. Come on, and then they can just share how they were able to solve the same problem you are in.
Right. That's in fact, that's what we'll just wrap up today, because I mean you've given like so much wisdom to first year teachers. And one thing that you've been hammering since is I knew my why. I knew why I wanted to do this. I knew my purpose. I knew my why. And so it is very, very important that you know why you are going into the teaching profession. You can't just go in because you love teaching. All well and good. I love teaching. I want to teach. I'm passionate about it. But why am I going into that this new space or this profession? Because the truth is sometimes passion will finish. That's the truth. It's not every morning. It's not every morning I'm passionate about waking up to go to work, to go and start marking and hear kids making noise in my ears when I can stay in my house and enjoy my space, right? So there are sometimes that passion will finish, but purpose cannot finish because that's who you were made to be, right? So we need, at the end of the day, it falls back to knowing your why. And also, you mentioned accountability, which is so important. And I love that you mentioned that having that person that you share your why with, so that you, when you forget your why, the person will remind you that don't forget you said you want to transform the lives of children, you want to make an impact, that this next generation is in your hands. If you don't do anything, this next generation will spoil that kind of thing. So there are people that will hold you accountable, and also goals for the term or the school year. I'm glad that you mentioned that as well. Many teachers go into the school year without goals. It is bad. I know I've met teachers who will go into the school year. They don't have any goal. They're just going in like, when
You
I
just go
get
and
there, yeah, when I get there, I'll figure it out.
figure
But
it out.
when I get there, I'll figure it out. I'm like, what are you figuring out? What do you think? What do you think you are doing? If you have goals, it just keeps you focused. You know that this is where I'm going. It guides your actions really. So everything that you choose to do throughout that school year is based on your goals, the goals you've set for yourself, and even your students, the goals that your students have set for themselves, and you have as a class as together. So you have, I think I mentioned it as well in one of my old videos, talking about classroom goals, talking about your teacher goals, your students having their goals as well. So even apart from the school goals for the year, I know some schools don't even set goals. Everybody's working towards school vision, but they forget that we can have goals as a school as well, so that everybody has also ties their goal to ensure that the goal and the goals and the
The
visions of
overall goal has been achieved.
achieved, right? So it's very, very important. And that accountability, my God, I know that my first year I did not have an accountant. I didn't have any, I didn't have the accountability. Yeah, I know, I did not. I didn't have any, I had community. I had places I could go to just know, okay, this is not working. I have a solution. I need ideas. But that accountability that you said you were going to do this, this is not working now. I don't think so. Then also, you talked about speaking out. Very, very, very important. I will never forget. I will keep telling this story. I will never forget the day I burst out crying in my head of school's office. She just asked me a question and said, Adora, what is going on? Because stuff had happened in my class and I was just tired. I just told all of them that they should go outside, go and meet my supervisor at the time and head of school, because she was outside. And the owner of the school was coming to school that day, so we needed everywhere to be quiet. I don't know what happened. They were just making noise, and my class was hot because our AC was not working. So I had to open the window, so the noise was even going out. And so they went to our office. She talked to them, and then she called me. What's Mr. Adora? What is going on? I cried for like 15, 20 minutes. I was just crying. She just left me. I didn't know I was overwhelmed. I didn't know I had bottled up stress so much that I was just moving. I was just a walking time bomb, just waiting to explode. And thank God I was able to cry it out that day, because maybe one day my one student will do something small, will just lash out at the student, and that would be the end of my tenure in that school. But it's very important that we speak out, especially when you're experiencing a change in seasons. And I'm glad you mentioned that, getting married, having a newborn, and then you're coming to meet children again. You know, you are leaving your child or you're carrying your child, putting your child in pressure, and you expect that you are coming to meet children that will, you know, be nice to you and help your life. But then it's still the same thing. You're coming to clean, even though you're not cleaning literal, you know, pampers and removing all this, but you're cleaning up after their mess because you have to ensure that their lives are going to move in the direction that God has made them to be. So sort of we are still cleaning up and, you know, speaking out, delegating. I love the example you gave that you know, peer assessment is very, very important. Peer assessment and feedback, how students can give feedback makes so much sense. That's something I know I've talked about that in one of my videos as well. I'm just glad you're seeing all these things so that more teachers will know that these things are important. I'm not all these videos I'm
Yes.
making is for you. It's not for anybody because it works. It really works if you have all of these things and just a whole lot of wisdom. But on a final note, for first year teachers, what was that one advice or word of encouragement that you have for them going into this new school year?
Okay, so we've talked about many things already, but I think I'll just sum it up to two things. Be yourself.
Yeah.
So be yourself is not being having a limiting belief or going being yourself. When I say be yourself, don't try to be like, okay, so to yesterday or when you resume, there's this teacher that everybody seems to be praising, and then you're trying to copy. Just be original.
Right.
So true self. And then the other thing is know why you have chosen to become a teacher. Trust me, knowing your why will save you many times.
Mm,
My why might be different from my colleague's why.
most
I
definitely.
remember when I was working with a teacher and then she resigned and I was called for a meeting that you might be going soon since this person has left. I asked them that did we come together? Are we here for the same reasons? The
Mm,
reason why she left was crucial to her. It doesn't disturb me because they thought for different reasons. So the truth is that you meet people saying all sorts of things, but always remember why you have chosen to become a teacher. No matter your environment, no matter the colleagues that you have, no matter the boss that you have, no matter the students in your classroom, your why is that thing that will always save you every time you are stumbling or you are falling. So be yourself, keep growing, keep learning, listen to the right people, and know your why. So knowing your why is just everything. When you know your why, you just always find your balance at the end of the day.
mm, Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. You're teaching this is
Thank you.
buddy. So if you need a buddy as a teacher, I mean, if you need someone to be accountable to, you can slide into our DMs and she's going to be there to help you. You can slide into my DMs as well, but she's your buddy. She has said it that she's your buddy. So she's going to be there for you. And I just want to say a big thank you, Senami, for being here, for encouraging our
You
first year
too.
teachers. I'm very, very excited because I know that this will help a lot of them. It will really, really help a lot of them going into the new school year. And I want to say I love you. Thank you so much. I'm
I
really,
love you too. And
really,
teachers need to start listening to YouTube videos like the ones that you create. The funny thing is that when they see makeup video, that they won't go and be watching makeup video. When they see teachers telling them what to do, they will not watch those ones.
just like that. They will not slide into my DMs. So I said, go and watch my video. I'm not going to say what I said again. Go and watch that. Sit
I'm
down
going to
with
start
it.
making noise about it. So just be sending me the links. I'll be following up to anyway.
Thank you
Please,
so,
because
so much.
teachers need to hear many of these things, all of these things actually. It should just make their lives a whole lot better.
I'm telling you. I mean, even for the Skill Teacher Academy that will be running for 12 weeks, this is the 10th week already. And every teacher that has come, you're like, I wish other teachers could see this. Thank God I saw the flyer. Because of what? Because what I chose to teach there are things that they won't teach you in school. You won't hear it in school. You won't, if you go online, you might not even see it there because it's coming from a place of maybe something I took some
Experience.
experience and I took some of my courses here and I distilled. Imagine me distilling a full school term's work in 2 classes. And some teachers will be like, wow, like I need to sit down with this video again. And I'm like, why not? It's for you. I'm doing all of this for you because I know my why, I know where I'm going. So all of you are involved in that process of ensuring that this why is achieved. And so I will do anything and everything to ensure that this is done. So I'm going to stop recording now. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
too
You
for
guys
having
follow.
me.
Ensure you follow. I'll tag you. The flyers are ready, so I'll post it on my page. And so please, when it is posted, ensure you follow, and ensure that you engage with her content. Ensure that you follow the Teacher's Time Up with Adora. Subscribe and do all that is needed. Thank you so much, Senami. I'll let you go. Please enjoy
You
your
too.
evening and
You
have a
too.